my name is Judy Ko and welcome to my class. Today I'm going to share with you how to make a delicious lemon lychee tart. Now first, to make the easy lemon cream, let me introduce the ingredients. Now first we have the gelatin powder. Now gelatin powder is extracted from cows, from the bones of the cows, and it serves like a cement in inverted commas to hold the lemon cream together. So lots of mousses that we make, we use the gelatin powder. Now I've chosen to use the gelatin powder which is halal, and what the first step you need to do is called to bloom the gelatin. Now here I've got water already measured according to the recipe. We take some tap water or drinkable water and sprinkle the gelatin powder over the water in this manner. Okay, so what I do is that I just simply place the water in a container that is wide enough for me to sprinkle the gelatin powder. So just sprinkle. Now the purpose is to allow the gelatin powder to absorb the water so that it can be melted easily later on. Now this process is called blooming the gelatin. So what we do is that after we have done this, making sure that the gelatin is already moistened with water, we set it aside for about 10 to 15 minutes until it becomes slightly spongy. Alright, there's no need to use warm water, just normal room temperature water will do. Now next, since it's got lemon cream, lemon juice is a must of course. Now I've chosen to use fresh lemon juice. Just get those yellow lemon. If you cannot find it, you can also use the green lime. Squeeze out the juice, measure it, and then set it aside. Now then the other ingredient that we have is the sugar. You can use some fine sugar. And most important ingredient to me is of course the Anchor whipping cream. Now this is the dairy cream, and Anchor is a very popular brand. I use it a lot. Lots of chefs like to use this Anchor whipping cream. Now it has a very rounded, smooth taste which a lot of us enjoy. Now what you must remember is that every time you want to whip the cream, you should place the cream in the refrigerator. Make sure it's chilled before you whip it. Okay, so I've got already some whipping dairy cream in my mixing bowl. It is a very hot day. You might even consider refrigerating your bowl, storing your bowl in the fridge so that it's cold enough for you to whip it up. Now otherwise, if you are working in an air-conditioned environment, just cold cream from the fridge will do the trick. Okay, so here I've got dairy cream. Now you notice the dairy cream has got a nice creamy tinge. That's because the cows from where the cows are grass-fed. So that's why you notice the chlorophyll makes it slightly very nice, light creamy sort of color that is very natural. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to first whisk the whipping cream. Okay, so I've got my whipping cream in this bowl. Now let me just whip this up. So we use the whisk to whip it. Now be careful not to over whip it. Okay, it's better to under whip because you can continue with it. Once it's over whip, then you notice that sometimes when you mix for too long, the cream may just split. So just be careful. And usually we make mousses or creams like what we're going to do, we do not over whip it. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Just stay with me for a short while and you know what I mean. Okay, so now very quickly you have the cream here. Okay, so it's softly whipped. Okay, so alright, if you take a look at it, it's softly whipped here. It's very easy to remove the cream from the whisk if it's whipped just if it is not over whipped. Okay, alright, now then we set this aside. Okay, if you look at my cream, okay, it's very nice and very smooth, okay, texture. So just whip it like this. If you over whip, it sometimes will split and then turn into butter and maybe butter and liquid will separate from the cream. Now, okay, so I set it aside. Next, I already have my gelatin bloom over here. If you take a look at it, you see it's pretty spongy, right? So just place it all in the saucepan. Really very simple. You can place your lemon juice here, and I place my sugar here. Okay, so that's all we need. Everything in my saucepan. And what we do is that we heat it, okay, over medium heat just to melt the gelatin and the sugar. There is no need to boil it, just simply melt it. By the way, gelatin melts at 30 degrees and sets at 16 degrees. So, you know, just simply heat it over a slow gentle heat will do the trick. Important thing is to melt the gelatin and the sugar at the same time. Okay? So, alright, sorry. Okay, so we mix for a short while like this. Okay, I think I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit more. And then as you stir, okay, you must think of happy things, smile at yourself. Okay, happy people make happy pastries. Always remember that. Okay. Alright. Especially during this difficult time in history, where where the world is going through an extraordinary time, trying to fight COVID and challenges in businesses, and people sometimes losing jobs because of companies. I think it is a good time to also focus on the positive things and eat sweets, desserts that we're going to make today. All right, brighten each other's day by making this for your loved ones, and choose to be positive. Okay, so here we have. I'm actually cooking it. All right, so once it's done, once it's hot enough, okay, to melt the gelatin, we set it aside to cool. Now normally we allow it to cool to about 38-40 degrees. If the temperature is too high, it might just melt your whipping cream, so that's not what we want. All right, so okay, now if you take a look at my lemon base, you see is very clear. It's pretty clear. Any bits of cloudy bits, this is just the sack from the lemons, fresh lemons. Okay, so if that bothers you, you can always sieve out the sack, but I always like to include them. You know, like so it gives a little bit of texture to your cream as well. Okay, so that's it. Now then what we do, okay, is that once it's cool, all right, we set it aside first to cool. Now if you are in a hurry and you need to go somewhere, and you can cook the base like this, the lemon base, leave it aside at room temperature to cool. Just cling wrap it, and the cream you can store it in the fridge and return later to complete the job. It's also possible, but it's always good to finish the entire process. Okay? Alright. Now, here I'm going to take a break from the lemon filling, and I'm going to say something about the tart. Now, I've got some ready tarts already baked earlier on, so that I can proceed with my demonstration with ease. These tarts can be baked ahead and stored in an airtight container, and it can be also frozen so that when you need it at any time, you can take it out from the freezer and bake it in the oven just for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, just to warm it up a little bit and allow it to cool to refresh the tarts. So this is a very easy recipe, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain how we're going to make the tart. Now first, I've got butter, and of course I'm using Anchor butter today. Now Anchor, I use Anchor unsalted butter. So this butter, what I do is that we cut it into pieces, and I add just a little bit of salt to the butter so that it gives a little bit of taste. But of course you can also use the salted ones. It's just that in a pastry shop or in our pastry shop, we like to use unsalted butter. And unsalted butter, so that if I were to make buttercream, or whether it's to decorate or to decorate cupcakes and stuff like that, and I don't want to have the salt in my butter, I want a fresh kind of creamy taste, I use the unsalted butter. So this is what we do. Now just ensure that the butter is not too soft. Okay, so cut the butter into pieces like this, and the butter is okay. If you take it straight from the fridge, it can be pretty hard, so it will take a longer time to cream. The thing is to, when the butter is about this texture, when you press it lightly, you can sort of, it allows you to create an indentation. Is about right. Okay, temperature is about 19 degrees, around there. Okay, so I put in my little bit of salt, and I've got some icing sugar, so I put the icing sugar in. All right. And I'm going to use a paddle, okay? Paddle to cream the butter and icing sugar. Alright. Okay. I go on low speed first because I don't want the icing sugar to fly into my face. Okay, so I start on low speed to cream, stop the machine for a while, and go on medium speed. And the butter and the icing sugar should be creamed until pretty light before I add in the eggs and the flour. Okay, so this will take a little bit of time, so I'm going to leave that alone for a while. Now creaming butter and icing sugar creates a lighter texture in the pastry, because when we cream, we introduce a little bit of air into the pastry, and these air bubbles, later on when we put it into the oven, the air bubbles will expand to give you a lighter texture. And the same applies when we are making butter cakes. So there is a reason why we take the time to cream the butter and the sugar. Right? You stop creaming when the butter looks a little bit lighter in color, but don't cream until it starts to melt. Okay, then you will end up with a rather firm pastry. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this will take a little while, but in the meantime, let's come back to the lemon cream. Now for the lemon cream, by now the temperature is pretty cool, so it's easy to work with it. Okay, and it will not melt my cream. Earlier on, I had already whipped my cream, right? So now what I'm going to do is, okay, the cool mixture, all right, cool lemon filling, lemon juice and sugar and gelatin that's been melted together. I'm going to pour a little bit into my whipped cream and mix it rather quickly. Okay, so just a little bit, okay, like this. Then I continue to add a little bit more of my lemon mixture, okay, and very quickly mix again. Okay, if you take a look, so just mix it in, okay, so that it's easy and it's homogeneous. Okay, add in more lemon cream, lemon mixture, sorry. Okay, so you see, so add this in like this. and more. Some more lemon juice and the gelatin all together here. Okay, now in order to make it easy for you to pour it into the tart shells, baked tart shells, one way is to pour it into a measuring jug like this with a spout, okay, so that it's easy for you to complete the process. Okay, now I just pour everything into here. And if you take a look at my tart shell, okay, alright, which I will complete the entire process of how to make it. Now we pour the lemon cream into the tart shell. Okay, don't pour too much because when you put the fruits, you don't want it to overflow. Okay, now then you can select some canned lychees. Of course, if lychees are in season, it will be nice to just put some fresh lychees. Okay, I don't know about you. If it is me, when I'm peeling the fresh lychees, I always cannot resist the temptation to pop some straight into my mouth. So it's safer maybe to just take it straight from the can, drain it. Okay, so I've got my lychees here, and I'm going to arrange it on to the lemon cream. Okay, so I have so while the lemon, and then you can select the luscious lychees, okay, like this, and place about, depending on the size of your tart shells. Okay, so you can just position some lychees like this, and you can even top it up with more lychees at the top here, so you can use this like a glue, like a dip in a little bit of the lemon cream like this. Okay, and then I've got some blackberries. Okay, so it looks very delicious like this. These have been already washed and drained, and to give it some color, some fresh raspberries, okay, like this. And again, if you need to stick it, just dip of this into here, okay, or here. Now actually you can, this lemon cream is so delicious, it can go with any fruit. You can even go with grapes, okay, whatever you have on hand or whatever is in season. So don't restrict yourselves to just lychees. Okay, so alright, like this, and then you can have more, again dip like this, and so on. Okay, so there you can have more. Now I've got some glaze, ready glaze, which you can apply on the lychee so that they look even more inviting, more delicious. Okay, so there, you see, I don't want the fruits to roll out during delivery or when I present it to some, give it to some friends. And you can have a little bit of glaze. The glaze is really nice. These are what we call shiny glaze, which you can glaze your fruits It's almost like a lady putting lip gloss on her luscious lips. So just, okay, that shouldn't happen. So just take it, okay? Sometimes the glaze can be a little thick, so just sort of stir it a little bit before you glaze it. Okay, just a touch of shine, not too much. As you know, if it's too much of a shine, it can come across as just too much. Okay, so just glaze like this. And to make it more delicious, I've got some baked almond slivers, almond slices, and you just drop it randomly on the tart. Okay, and there we have. All right, these are already pre-baked, so just drop like this. So don't you think the tart looks very inviting? Okay, now I've got more tarts that I prepared ahead of time. So there we have, and of course I'm gonna add this tart onto the plate, and we are ready to enjoy, have a cup of tea and enjoy. Okay, and give thanks for the blessings in life. Now, as I mentioned, this lemon cream is actually very versatile. You can use it not just for tarts, but also for choux pastry as a filling for cream puff, and it can be frozen as well. Okay, but let me continue with the making of the tart shells. Just give me a minute to put these away, and I'm going to continue with the tart shells. Okay. Now, earlier on, if you as you might recall, I was actually creaming the butter and icing sugar in preparation, okay, as one of the first steps in to make the tart. So I've got my butter and icing sugar already creamed, but let's see if it's really ready. Now, what are the telltale signs that tell you that it's not quite ready? Now, in here we have got butter and icing sugar. But if you look at the side, this is pretty yellow and this is very light. Okay, so the color is not even. So let me sort of scrape the sides, okay, down. You can use a spatula like this, scrape it down. Okay, and cream it further. All right, so okay, all right, cream, butter and icing sugar. After that, I will add in the egg in a short while. Okay. Now, once it's pretty light, okay, let me show you once again. The creaming process is complete. Okay, if you look, you see, unlike just a while ago, the butter and the icing sugar is pretty even in terms of color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to now add the egg. Okay, so we're going to add in the egg, just followed by the flour, and then the dough will be complete. When we make pastry, it's always good, okay, to just rest the dough, okay? Rest the dough gives you a better texture and also prevents it from shrinking. Alright, so I've got my egg already added. Next, I will add in my flour. You can use plain flour, okay? And go on low speed. Okay, next lot of flour, I'm going to add it in. mixing on very low speed. Okay. Okay. Now I've got this tart shell baking tart for baking the tarts in these tins. These are coated with non-stick material. But in any case, when it comes to tarts and pastries, if the tart is baked, it should actually be easy to remove it from the baking container quite easily. Okay. And in a short while, it's going to be ready. So I'm going to just mix it together. As I mentioned, it's good to refrigerate your tart dough. So what I do is that you can roll it between 2 sheets of silpat, or you can also put it in between 2 sheets of baking paper, roll it flat and keep it in the fridge. You can also store it in the freezer as well. Now just simply, okay, lightly press the dough, and you can just put it in between your silpat, get the rolling pin, and then roll it to about 2 to 3 mm thick. Okay, so just turn the dough like this. Okay, these silpats are non-stick, so it's easy to use. Otherwise, you can use 2 pieces of baking paper and just simply roll it flat like this. Okay, and all right, once it's flat, just place it in the refrigerator. Okay, so there we have, all right, like this. Now, and you can either keep it frozen so that you can keep it for a longer period. All right, so I've got a piece of dough that's already been refrigerated. Now all you need to do to line your tart containers is to get a cutter, okay, that is bigger than your tart container, like this. All right, and then you can just simply sort of make these, and it is a lot faster if you do it in this manner. And okay, and you can easily remove these from, okay, remove this like this and place it into your tart container like this and press it, okay, making sure that air bubbles are not trapped by the side. So just sort of press it in like this. Okay, and take care to press out. And what you do is that you can use the back of your knife, okay, or like this, to just trim it in this manner. So if you use this method, it's actually quite easy to do it. Okay, so just ensure that it's neat and nice. And if to prevent the tart from rising too much in the oven, what you do is you can just pierce some holes like this, and then you bake it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Alright, so of course, make more tarts together, put on tray and bake for about 20 minutes. Now, to save some time, I've already got some of these tarts already baked. Now, I have a tip to share with you to prevent the tarts from going soggy too quickly. As soon as the tarts come out from the oven while they're still warm, you can just use a brush and dip in a little bit of egg white. You might have some egg white in your refrigerator, and very lightly brush it, okay, while it's still hot. And then you can return to the oven to bake for another, for a couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes, just to set the egg white further. And this sort of prevents or delays the softening of the tart. Of course, other methods will be to brush a layer of melted chocolate in the tart, so it's really up to you. But I don't want the chocolate or something too strong to interfere with my light lemon cream. So as we have already done the tart, I hope you will have great fun making these lemon tarts, lychee lemon tarts for your family, loved ones. And finally, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.